Welcome to this beautiful, beautiful episode where we get to talk about parenting, which is a very hard conversation. But again, to me, it's really eye-opening because just like I said, no one's one size fits all. I think it's better we normalize these conversations so that if I get to hear something from you and it's something that I can be able to incorporate in what I do, then I will try it out. It doesn't have to work exactly as it worked at your place. But again, if I try, then I can know this will work or this will not work. But I am in constant touch or in constant search for solutions of how to keep my home better, my children better, and eventually to groom understanding citizens and responsible citizens. But we are creating, it's like we have mini factories in homes of monsters that are just growing. That are going to become narcissistic husbands, that are going to become narcissistic wives, that are going to become nacheyombekede because they're like, you know what, this world is too much because they're so entitled. They keep walking away, bad attitudes and all that. So sometimes I'm thinking, by the time we're done parenting and the product that will come out, they will definitely differentiate between the good homes and the bad homes. Yes. And that is when you will see parents gnashing in their old age because they didn't do their work. They thought, you know what, I love having much fun. I love my phone more than anything. I have the money, so the nanny can take care of the children and they can learn from whoever they want to learn. And sometimes we are not intentional that this is how we want it to run. But we're just not attentive enough to make sure that these things happen. Where we left off, we're talking about being content, and I think I was saying it was the best virtue that I got from my mother, and I don't know how she did that until now. I'm looking for that formula because I would love to have it in my own children. But I believe it's one thing that has brought me to where I am, and it's one thing that has made her a proud parent to say that, you know what, she is my daughter. And I think sometimes they're like, I don't know what I did. You know that if you ask parents, they will not tell you that this is what I did. I think they're like, I don't know what I did to deserve this, but God has, God has paid me well, or God has been faithful to me. And as parents, we would want to all get to that place of saying that God has been faithful to me. But again, he cannot be faithful if you're planting pawpaws and you expect oranges. So the contented, and there's something you brought up about contentment. and entitlement. I want us to start there.
You see, the children, it's monkey see, monkey do. Contentment.
Yep.
I saw my mother being, that. So I also grounded.
Yeah.
And so I also grew up
now I have a formula.
Grounded.
You've opened my eyes.
Yes, because it's monkey see, monkey do.
Yeah.
So if you're not grounded, and by the way, these children can pick up the feel, like you were saying.
Emotions, they pick up. Yeah.
When a baby, let's say 1 month, 2 months, when you're angry, they will pick it up and they will start crying. And my husband who taught me this and said, calm yourself down. And when I would be he would grab the baby away from me, hold him, and I'm like, what magic does he have? It is picking up the feelers. So be
you're
grounded.
Agitated and
they'll be agitated.
On, yeah.
So if you're teaching them to be content and you're not content yourself, it will be spilled milk.
That's true.
Number 2, entitlement. We have given our children a lot of entitlement. I don't want this, I want this. And then you say, oh, you don't want it. Okay, tomorrow I'll buy for you this one. What you want? They're like, when I do that, she'll buy for me. I say, you don't want it? Okay. Did you know that actually I used money to buy it? I'm not going to give it to you. I'm not going to buy it for you. Okay? Okay. Deal? Deal. And then
take it or leave it.
It is what I've done. And when I see you throwing tantrums, I bring you back, discipline you, and tell you, you don't behave that way. And then I tell you, there are people out there who would want. So they grow up knowing.
We are privileged.
Privileged. Yeah. And then what I do, I thank God that I'm privileged to have a car. But even if you don't have a car, get out with your children. Go on the streets. Let them see people begging. And you say, do you see? They don't have what to eat.
Yeah.
You have what to eat. So you can't throw away food. And so we keep the food. You will eat it for lunch. During holiday, you will eat it for lunch. Whatever you
will keep.
And you will eat it. So you take away that, and by the way, for them to, we reward them, by the way, afterwards. We reward you. We need to develop the reward.
For good effort
For good
and
effort
good
in what
behavior.
you've done.
Yeah.
My daughter and I, my daughter is 9 years, so we have what we call Girls' Day Out. Girls' Day Out is very simple. Put her in the car, let's go do our nails. So I'll go to the salon to go and do my nails. And then I'll go, let them do your nails, let them do my nails. And afterwards, go pick ice cream, drive back home. Thank you, Mama. That alone.
Yeah, makes her feel like,
I was out with my mother. But even when we are out there, how are you behaving? We are talking. So I'll be knowing, what don't you want? What is this? And she will speak.
How do you behave?
How
do you
behave?
respond?
Yes. Even at school, when I go to school to pick her up, she shouldn't feel entitled that when I drop her at school, she will bang the car door without saying, bye, Mama, see you, I love you. And then she's whoosh off the...
Yeah.
I am not even a driver.
You don't do that.
You don't do that. I will drive away and leave you. If not, I'll leave you at home and say, you bang the door, I'm your mother. So they get out saying, thank you, Mama. Have a good day, Mama.
Yeah.
Love you, Mama. And when I come back, I don't have to sit there for 30 minutes or 1 whole hour
waiting
when they are looking for you everywhere, because you know we pick them up at 3:30. So 3:30, you're done running up and down. And as they
should be waiting.
they should be checking if Mama's car has come or Daddy's car has come to pick you up. So they don't have this entitlement of, Feba not to picking up. They have to pick us
And
up.
then they have to
drop
wait.
us, and they have to wait. And then we have to do whatever, and then we sluggishly, your mother? Not my
And I
children.
think that training comes from childhood.
Yes.
Not when they are even somewhere in life. It has to begin when you are a baby, when you are 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. There's a time I go to a place and I stopped stocking things, or if I overstock things, then I put them in the pantry and I don't avail them to. Because I realized, okay, so if you have biscuits, you have chapatis, you have everything around, eggs and what, you wake up and you're like, I don't want eggs today for breakfast. And I'm like, who says you don't want eggs? So no, I'm not Weetabix. No, I don't want Weetabix. So I was like, you provide one thing at a go. So if there is bread, you will eat bread. If you don't want it, go hungry, and I will either keep the rest or not buy the rest. So I was like, okay, so these guys actually understand, because when they get hungry, they will go get jam and bread and they will eat, and they will be thankful that it was there. So I perfectly get what you're talking about. Train up a child. I think we are still surrounding that, train up a child when they are still young, because even when you get to the time of telling them no sleepovers, they will not throw tantrums. Or if they throw tantrums first, you'll say you'll be well. And then next time, and then the other time, they'll be the one telling their friends, Mommy can't allow those things. And then after that, because it's after I got much older that I looked back and I was so thankful that there's this particular time that my dad told me, don't go out or don't go to that party. And like, it just didn't make sense. As a child, you feel you're suffering. You feel someone is torturing you. But in hindsight, way after, I looked back and I was like, you never know that was the day the enemy was waiting just to get a hold of me and spoil the whole of my future. You know, you go to a place as a young girl, you are 14 years old or you're 16 years old or whichever age your children are at, and you don't know, because you know the parents, but you don't know whether an uncle is going to be there. You don't know what kind of juju. You read that story about the witchcraft.
Yes.
Someone walks into the room, does all those things. Do you know the horror this girl is going to keep in her heart for the rest of her life? Because she's asking questions without answers. She's saying, what was that guy doing? Yeah. What were those songs what was that kind of chanting that they were doing? Could it be that they were doing something on me? And, you know, maybe it's going to spoil my future. Before you know it, someone has become a failure because there is a thought that has bound them and they have questions that they can never ask anyone. Right. So I want us to come right there to the point of having these kids outside of our homes. How do we go about safeguarding them, creating perimeters, creating the boundaries, creating in systems that they also believe in and subscribe to?
I think giving children a reason for not letting them go past a certain boundary also helps. Because there are parents who will say,
don't do this.
Don't. And children's minds work with why. You see, I have a 3-year-old. but he's always asking
Why?
Yes. Because he asks another why. Like the why for them is endless. So as they grow up, they pick up suspicion. Why? Why do they stop me from going here? Because eventually, someday, they still will go, and then that might
They
be
just
too
don't know how
late.
to handle,
Yes. So
themselves.
helping them with the boundaries, we must answer the why question. Mommy, why shouldn't I go here? And so, and some parents, of course, have fears of sharing their own experiences and maybe things they suffered as a result of doing that, and they don't want their children to get to know them. But I think it's time we share these experiences because they learn from us. And every time we speak from not just a place of knowledge, I know this, I've heard about it, but a place of experience that I actually did this. One of the things we teach in coaching and mentoring, we tell them an experience of another person could save you 10 years of a loss because someone has gone this road and they're saying, don't walk this road. I did exactly that and this happened to me. So we need to give our children reasons for why this perimeter, why this boundary before just don't do it. Just don't touch that. Don't play with that boy. Because they keep asking, but why?
Yeah.
So they will dare.
Or even just doing I like the part when she said that, you know what, we decided we will make the visits during day. We will go and they will play around with their friends, but we will tell them night, impossible. But during day, we will drive you there to go and play, and then we will go back home. So they know that you're not there to just police them around and just say no to everything. Because there are parents who practice that, they think they're safeguarding, but they're actually imprisoning.
Yes.
Not just imprisoning, but this child feels that day I see that gate open, I run for my dear life.
Yes.
Or the day I will, maybe someone, in a way I find myself, you know, in this place, then I will do everything that I think I want to do. But again, explaining to them the whys, and then just giving them the leeway and saying that, okay, we have an alternative. How about we skip the sleepover because I'm not comfortable with that and because of the things that could happen, that could go wrong. But again, we can be able to go and play with them, or we can meet them in a park somewhere and play with them. So you have time with your friends, even if it's the whole day, but you are in a park, it's an open place, people are playing, and I can come pick you and we go back home. Instead of saying you're going, do you know what happens during nighttime? I think every bad thing happens at night. And you know, this child is out of your sight. And I think there are certain parents, also types of parents.
Right.
There are parents that are really so worrisome. And then there are parents who are, to whoever it may concern. I don't know what brings that about. I think maybe it's the personality traits.
Yes.
Now, I am the type that worries about everything, to the extent that I just had to teach myself how to let go of certain things and not want perfection, to just give myself the peace of mind. But I would worry about so many things because of the so many things that I have seen happen in the world, even to the people closest to me. And so I'll be like, no, I will never do that. But sometimes I'm surprised there are parents who are just like, anything goes. I'm like, how do they keep their cool? I don't know whether you've seen this.
Yes. Yeah. You know, when he was talking about it, I thought about communication. Communication is very key with our children. And you know, when they ask those whys, you give answers to the whys, by the way. And then you give them, you can forge up a story. You could have gone through some of these things, but you also make it up and say, this happened. Then,
so and so,
yes. Then you also look for, because there's so many movies out there, you look for some content. Create that. Today is movie night. Like at my home, my daughter's telling me, oh, Mama, you know what? It is weekend. This weekend is the weekend, junk weekend. Junk because you're not cooking matoke, rice.
Sure, you're doing chips. And
you're doing chips or you know, I love cooking. I love cooking. So I'll play around with food. And then they'll tell you, oh, Mama, today is junk food. And I'm like, yeah, junk weekend. So we create movie night. They have DSTV, but I'll get a movie. And because I've seen it somewhere, or I was on social media, or I was on something, and then you give it to them. Oh, you're looking at something.
You do popcorns and have blankets around.
Yes, around.
Yeah, juice, and they feel like...
Yes, so that they do not have
I even had to buy disco lights for
Yes, you create it in your home, so that they do not have this idea of this sleepover because the friend is telling them of how we... And you're like, no, with us we have it at home. So we communicate.
Wow.